What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the ever-charming Dr. Disaster, and you would have thought that Eve from Stellar Blade would have been the perfect icon for feminists, a badass, sword-wielding chick that don't need no help from any man. Well, considering how well Eve was received across the gaming spectrum, this game would have been a spectacular attack vector for the woke cult if they had claimed it as their own when it first came out. But instead, when the game released, they decided to attack it, because if there is anything that the feminist sewer creatures and their simps working in the Western game industry despise, it's things that men enjoy. They went with their old tactics, attacking the game through the access media, but that backfired spectacularly when the game sold really well. They wrote hit pieces like this one here for weeks, talking about the evil male gaze and how Stellar Blade feeds into that, so apparently the game was evil. Sex positivity is supposedly a good thing unless it involves straight men. Then, somehow it becomes evil for reasons that escape anyone with functional brain cells. But all this did was expose the idiots in the access media as being powerless to persuade gamers any longer, and it exposed the woke cultists as being nowhere near as powerful as they believed. The cracks in the establishment's armor became evident. This was especially clear when games that featured characters that looked like this, which were purposely made ugly to avoid the male gaze, but games with these characters flopped all year long.
See anything you like?
No.
So yeah, rather than take the easy win, the woke cult decided to shit on Stellar Blade and by extension, gamers. And now that they have lost, they are trying desperately to gaslight everyone into thinking they've been on Stellar Blade's side all along. Countless articles like this one are being written now, trying to pretend they always loved this game. And jackasses like this guy on Twitter are essentially trying to claim Stellar Blade as the feminist icon she could have been. But the damage has been done. We have the receipts so that now, when these morons make this claim, we point at them and say,
"Ah, he's full of shit!"
Alright me hearties, make sure that you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. We have gotten a bunch of new subscribers lately, which is why it is now time to ask the following question.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
There are now 114,000 space pirate a-holes in this buccaneer crew of ours, and the custom is on this channel that with every 1,000 subscribers, I add a new ship to the fleet in order to house the newcomers. This time, one of you guys recommended a tree ship from Hyperion Canto, which you can see flying around here. If any of you guys have recommendations for future ships, drop them into the comment section and I will add them to my long list. Super chats get bumped to the top of the list, and also, for your reference, I am adding an alphabetical list of all the ships already in the fleet to the description of this video. But, in any event, I want to thank everyone for being here.
I knew it, I'm surrounded by assholes.
Anyhow, we are going to talk about Stellar Blade and how the woke cult absolutely fought against this game when it first came out. And it was all because that is their knee-jerk reaction whenever they see something that men enjoy. They either want to infiltrate it, and if they can't do that, then they attack it. If only they had been smart enough to simply embrace the game from the beginning, then they could have countered the fact that all of the fugly female characters that are being rejected in gaming these days, they could counter that by saying, well, not all feminist icons are being rejected, look at Stellar Blade. But they don't understand strategy. All they understand is that they must adhere to whatever the woke cult has told them to adhere to. Word spread through their ranks that they were supposed to hate Stellar Blade, so they wrote articles like this one here. But now they are realizing that opposing Stellar Blade is not a win. That is not helping them to obtain power, which is really all they care about. They don't have principles, not in the conventional sense. Their only principle is a desire to see their political side win. That is why they can have cognitive dissonance like this, where thegamer.com can write this just a few months ago, railing about how much they hate Stellar Blade, and yet they can write this shit here, where the same outlet tells us how much they love it. And speaking of cognitive dissonance, this troglodyte here on X made an ass of himself posting this. It says, woke people when Stellar Blade came out, and it shows a little woke guy with a heart over him as he plays Stellar Blade. And there are tons of articles coming out these days with positive sentiment aimed at the game, which is why people like the ones running this account that posted this are able to forget all about the negative shit that their woke cult used to say about Stellar Blade. They can forget that now because their priests in the access media told them that it never happened. Well, George Orwell wrote about this sort of phenomenon in his legendary book 1984, and I'm going to quote it here. He said, "Every record has been destroyed or falsified, every book rewritten, every picture has been repainted, every statue and street building has been renamed, every date has been altered, and the process is continuing day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. Nothing exists except an endless present in which the party is always right." Now, the defining trait of wokeness is people who adhere to whatever the cult tells them, whether it makes sense or not. This guy who posted this tweet, which had a bunch of reach, but this guy argued with a whole lot of people who explained that he was full of shit. Here are just some of the screenshots that I found that people responded to him with. Here is the Stellar Blade review from IGN. It says, "Other games have chosen to highlight the strengths of their female characters, but where Bayonetta stands out with an iconic character design, or a 2B from Nier Automata inspires an entire generation of cosplayers, Eve from Stellar Blade is just bland. A doll sexualized by someone who has never seen a woman."
That's just something ugly people say.
Or, here's a screenshot of an old tweet where this feminist sings the praises of an article from Inverse, saying that in that article they dive into the game's sex appeal, Orientalism, and how it panders to the male gaze. And then this is the article in question where the writer is attacking Stellar Blade for being something that was enjoyed by men. This is an article from thegamer.com back in September saying they can't stand that Stellar Blade was going to cross over with Nier Automata. They didn't think Stellar Blade was worthy. And yet, here is the same outlet just a few days ago, thegamer.com, saying Stellar Blade is the sequel that I'm most looking forward to from 2024. Or, for another example of cognitive dissonance, here's an article from Forbes back when Stellar Blade was first released. It says, "Stellar Blade is now the highest user-scored PS5 game ever, which is a bit excessive." And now, keep in mind this was written by Paul Tassi, and this same D-bag wrote this article just a month or so ago. It says, "Stellar Blade, one of 2024's best games, is finally on sale." These people are desperate to claim Stellar Blade as their own. This cartoon here perfectly encapsulates what is happening. The woke cult saw Lara Croft and said, "What's with this misogynistic design for incels?" And then they saw Bayonetta and said the same thing, "What's with this misogynistic design for incels? Can't you be an empowered feminist icon like Lara Croft?" And then they did it with Nier Automata, saying, "What's with this misogynistic design for incels? Can't you be an empowered feminist icon like Bayonetta?" And then, when Stellar Blade came out, they said, "What's with this misogynistic design for incels? Can't you be an empowered feminist icon like 2B?" These people will always try to rewrite history in order to justify believing whatever their corporate overlords in the media tell them to believe. But I'm going to leave it there. Drop some mockery of these people who definitely didn't like Stellar Blade until 5 minutes ago. Drop that mockery into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching me, Hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.